The final battle with ego happens on a sale day. Picture the auction room. The reserve was at $950,000. The bidding hit $920K and stalled. The room went silent. You could hear the air conditioning humming. You could hear buyers shuffling their feet. The agent looked over sweating. "We are close. Do you want to pass it in?" The silence cost me 3 years of life stress. But to understand why I almost made the wrong decision, you need to see the two traps I fell into before I even got to the auction. I deserve this. This is the phrase that bankrupts property investors. We get into this game to make money. But somewhere in the middle of the renovation, usually around week 6, the third head of the Hydra wakes up. The ego. The fatigue sets in. The brain starts justifying luxury. Ego wants house to be famous. Ego wants Italian stone benchtop. Ego wants to prove to Instagram that it is high design. But the market doesn't care about ego. The market is a cold calculator. If you build a monument to yourself, you are donating your profit to the next owner. Today we are calibrating financial discipline. 1 for 5 rule, the financial shield that controls trades, and how to kill pride on the auction day before it kills the sale. Stop renovating for applause. Start renovating for the appraisal.
This isn't a theory. I've learned this inside life projects, not books. 40 plus flips, tens of millions in transactions, an 8-figure portfolio built by killing emotion, not chasing ego. What follows isn't inspiration, it's a damage control protocol. Now, let's get back to the mistake.
Let's talk about the scope creep. It's a silent leak that drains the bank account in $500 increments. It starts with, let's upgrade the taps. Then let's add the heated towel rail. Then let's do the fancy architraves. I remember standing in a high-end showroom on one of my early projects. I was looking at slab of Italian stone, deep gray veins, honed finish. It was beautiful. It cost $4,000 more than the standard engineering stone. The internal monologue started shouting, "This is perfect. This is amazing. This will make the kitchen pop. This is what a high-end developer would do." I could already see the photos. I could feel the praise from friends. But stop. Ask the hard, cold question that most flippers avoid. How does the valuer see this? Understand the valuer's algorithm. A registered valuer does not walk into a kitchen and stroke the bench top. They do not care about the feeling of the stone. They look at 3 comparable sales in the street. They look at square footage, bedroom count, bathroom count. They check a box, kitchen condition, modern. That box gets checked whether the stone is $1,000 standard or $5,000 Italian. The valuer is a robot. If the robot doesn't add value for the stone, neither should the investor. That brings us to weapon number 7, the 1 for 5 rule. The rule is absolute. Every dollar spent over the base budget must return $5 in the sale price. Why 5? Because of risk, interest, and tax. If $4,000 is spent on a stone, a $20,000 jump in valuation is required. Will a buyer pay $20,000 extra just for that slab in that specific suburb? If the answer was flat painful no, then it's a no. Buyers wanted a functional family kitchen. They wouldn't know the difference between Italian honing and standard polish. They were looking for space, not an art. The stone wasn't for the buyer, it was vanity. The math didn't work, so the idea died. I bought the standard bench top, and guess what? The house broke the street record anyway. Renovate for the data points, not for the magazine cover. If the math doesn't work, put it back on a shelf. But ego doesn't just want to look rich with Italian stone, it also wanted to be liked. And that leads to nice guys trap. This is the bank check. It's the only leverage available. Once it's handed over, the power is gone. This lesson was learned the hard way back in the very first flip. The painter was named Dave. Nice guy, family man. He came on a Friday afternoon looking stressed. He said, "Mate, I'm 95% done. The house looks great, but I've got rent due on Monday. Can you release final payment? I'll be back on Sunday. I'll finish the window seals." This is the moment the Hydra attacks. It attacks your empathy. The natural instinct is to be the good client, to be the nice guy. Compassion is a liability in the business. Control was surrendered. The check was signed. Sunday came, no Dave. Monday came, no Dave. His phone went straight to voicemail. Tuesday night at the house, it was cold. The heating wasn't connected yet. The smell of wet paint and dust was heavy in the air. When looking closely, the window sills weren't just unfinished, they were barely prepped. Masking tape was stuck to the glass. Drips on skirting board. The realization hit hard. He wasn't coming back. Why would he? He had the money. Money is the gravity. As long as you hold the money, the trade is pulled back to the side. When the money leaves the gravity, it is gone. I ended up with a scraper in my hand at midnight, exhausted, swearing under my breath, doing the work I already paid for. The sound of scraper on the glass in the empty house is sound never forgot. Fingers were numb. Back was healing me. That night, the weapon number 6, no finish, no pay, was forged. The money is the shield. If it's released early, quality disappears because there is no incentive for return. Now, the rule is binary. I don't care about rent. I don't care about sob stories. The check and the payment stays in the pocket until the job matches the spec. When the work is 100% done, pay instantly. Be the best payer in town, but never pay for promises, only pay for a completion. I learned my lesson with Dave, so when I stood in that auction room and the bidding stalled, I knew exactly which voice was talking to me. My ego screamed, "No, the spreadsheet says 950,000, don't blink. Proving you are right is more important than selling." This is trap number 9, exit paralysis. The amateur holds out for the dream price. The professional calculates the cost of holding. In that silence, the math must be done. If the property is passed in, what happened? First, the momentum dies. The house becomes stale listing. By Monday morning, buyers assume something is wrong with it. Second, cost restart. Mortgage interest for another 3 months, $8,000. Rates and insurance, another $1,000. Relaunch marketing campaign, $2,000. Extend staging hire, $2,000. Total cost to hold, $13,000. The gap between the bid 920 and the reserve 950 was $30,000. But the cost to chase that $30,000 was $13K plus the risk of market dropping further. The choice, pride or profit. Choose profit. I walked over to the auctioneer and said loud enough for the room to hear, "We are on the market, sell it." That announcement broke the tension like a glass shattering. The buyers woke up. They realized it was real. They realized they could actually buy a house now. The bidding restarted. 922, 925. It climbed all the way to $932,000. If ego had won, I would have walked away with a house I didn't want and a bill for $13,000. Instead, I banked the cash and moved to the next deal. Velocity beats perfection. Take the win. The ego head is tricky because it sounds like your own voice. It tells you that you deserve the luxury upgrade. It tells you to be nice and pay trade early. It tells you to hold out for the price that market won't give you. You have to kill the voice with the rules. The 1 for 5 rule, the financial shield, the decision to sell. That is how you tame the Hydra. If you don't have rules, you have emotions, and emotions are expensive. Next week, we are going to deep into the war zone. We are going to break down the kitchen standoff, the moment a cabinet maker held the project hostage, and exactly how the ultimatum script resolved it without spending a dollar. Subscribe so you don't miss it.